Hey everybody, welcome back to another design tutorial in Adobe XD, and today we will be designing this elegant and simple looking login form all inside Adobe XD, and we will also be prototyping this to animate shadows and buttons in this project. So without further ado, let's just get started. Okay, so we will get started by creating this iPhone X artboard, and I'm just going to rename this to login/register. Okay, so now that we have the artboard set up, let's get started with making the base of the design, which is the background, which is basically a square, and just extend the square a little bit till about the center of the screen. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the border, and I will give this dark navy blue, which I've saved here. By the way, I will be linking the actual XD document down in the description for you to download and just start working without actually having to do anything on your own. Okay, so this is our base. On top of this, we will have two other rectangles. I'm just going to copy this over, and I'm going to scale this down first, just like that, and make it slightly longer. Perfect. And I'm going to give this an entire abstract look. I'm going to have three rectangles, this base rectangle and two other rectangles. I'm going to just place this one here. I'm just randomly placing it. One quick tip: if you select the entire artboard, you can actually activate the layout. Layouts make it much easier to actually design. So I'm going to place it along this layout, along this column which I've created here, and I'm going to duplicate this by saying Command D. If you shift it, you see that it's been duplicated. I will change the color to this slightly light blue, and I will place this slightly above this, so maybe at about this point. Perfect. For reference, I have this artboard where everything's been placed. Okay, so basically it's similar to that. I just need to shift these a little to the top. Perfect. Now we have this kind of abstract background. I'm just gonna group this by saying Command G. I will group everything here. Now let's begin with the text. This is a heading for the application to showcase what the name of the application is. It's basically abstract. I'm just going to type this out, and as you can see here, again in this XD file, I have saved the style, so I'll just select this style and it just gets transferred into that. And I will make this much smaller, so I'm going to go for about a 42. Okay, this is a little too small, about a 62. Perfect. And I will place it in the center right about here. Perfect. I will give this a slight shadow. I will activate the shadow from here, and I will give it the same color as this dark navy blue, and give it a 50% opacity. And rather than saying 3 and 6, I will say 4 and 8. And maybe give it a 25% opacity. Perfect. This font is, by the way, a Brill fat face, which is free of cost in the Google font store, or you can. I will give down the link in the description. I will be giving the link to the the fonts down in the description, so go ahead and download it as well. The other font that I'll be using is Cerebri Sans, so we will just copy this over, and I'm gonna say the news reading app, or the news reading app. It is pretty big, but I'm gonna convert it first to this Cerebri Sans, remove the shadow, and make it even smaller, about 24, maybe slightly smaller, 20. Perfect. And I will place it in the center. about 5 pixels below this. You can change this based on how you like it. I'm gonna group it, and that looks just fine. I will change this to 50%. How about 70%? Perfect. So abstract the news reading app. Now I will start making the actual login form, and I will firstly make a square, fit it along these guided lines, and make it a rectangle. So I'm just going to extend this a little bit, and we will extend this based on whatever we are putting inside it. So this is not the final size. I will give it a shadow, this time a black shadow, and 10% opacity. I'll give it a 12 and a 42. So this gives this a very lifted kind of a feel, and sort of in your face as well. I'll place it slightly below this. You can place it at the bottom, or like we have the reference, we are basically covering this area. So first of all, I'll place this blue tile above a little bit. Perfect. And I'll place this right about here. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I will enter the titles. So if you want the user to shift from login to register, you should give him an indication. So here I'm going to write login. You can't really see it because it's white. I'll give it the same color as this navy blue. And for placement, I will first place it on the edge, then hold shift and say right twice and down once. Perfect. This is medium weight Cerebri Sans, 20 pixels in size. I will basically drag it out while holding Option or Alt, and I'll place it 10 pixels away from this. I'll change it to register. Perfect. And reduce the opacity to 50%. I'm going to place it maybe 20 pixels from here. Perfect. I will shift both of these down just a little bit, just 10 pixels. So it's 20 pixels from the top of this form. Perfect. I will just underline this login just to indicate that the login portion has been selected, and give it the color of this navy blue. Perfect. So this is 1 pixel in height and nothing else has been fiddled with. Perfect. Make sure that this is actually 10 pixels from the login. Perfect. This looks great. Now we have to start off with our text fields. So I will create a rectangle here, basic rectangle. And as you see, I've saved all the colors, so it's really convenient. And I will select this DEDEE4 color. Yeah, perfect. Or you can select a lighter color like this. What color have we selected? See, I forget, okay? I'm a human being, I forget. So pardon me for that. Yeah, we've used the F8 color. Perfect. So we did get that right. So I wasn't wrong at all. So we need something like this. We will place it right below this login, sort of this line that we have, just to showcase that it's starting from here. Just below this line, I will create a square. This will basically be the icon which will indicate what we are putting here. So first of all, I will give this navy blue color, and now I will create a triangle. So for that, easiest way is to use a plugin. I have a plugin here. If I go to plugins and say convert shape, convert to triangle, this is a basic plugin which you can search for in the plugin store in Adobe XD. It's free of cost and it's real quick, real easy. I'll make this triangle much smaller. Yeah, perfect. And I'll place it in the middle of the square. I'll change this color to this light blue which we had before, and remove the borders. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so this basically is like a modern kind of an icon that I've created. It's very simple and it basically means a profile. So this is like a coat, and this is like the shirt that the person is wearing. So that is my thought process behind it. But you can just put a simple icon here, no problems. And now I will indicate what we have to put here by placing a placeholder right here. I'm going to say email ID / username. Perfect. And this Cerebri Sans, I'm going to give this a regular and about 14 pixels or maybe 16 pixels in size. And I'll give this 8B, 8B, 8B kind of color right here and place it in the center. Perfect. Now to give this a shadow effect, I will add another rectangle and make sure that it's actually less wide than this actual text field to give it that lift, this 3D depth effect with the shadow. And I will give this a shadow now of 12 and 12. Perfect. And give this opacity of 10%. Perfect. And bring it behind the text field. See how this gets like this lift up effect. However, one thing has to be done before that. I'm going to decrease the opacity to 0 and bring it to the back. Perfect. As you can see, now it's at the back. I'm going to put it just above this group, and I'm going to rename this to shadow 1. So this is the shadow for the text field 1, and here's the text field with everything here. I'm going to group this entire text field together, Command G to group it, and I'm going to rename this group to text field 1. Perfect. This is just to simplify your entire flow and make sure that everybody understands what you're doing. I'm going to hold Option and just duplicate it and put it right below this. So no spacing below it. Perfect. And here I will change this icon and I will remove the triangle. I'll bring 3 circles. So these circles will basically indicate the password fields, which is basically circles. The encrypted password fields, and I will change this color to the light blue as we've done for this triangle. I'm gonna hold Option and bring these right here. Perfect. And I've give this little overlap effect just to make it more interesting. And I'm also going to place this, make sure that this is 3 points from the left, so 3 steps from the left. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to place this inside. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now it's pretty even, just like we've done with the triangle, and it indicates what I'm placing right here. So these do look a little too large. I will make these smaller. I agree. They are very, very large. And I'm going to place this 20 pixels from the left. Same with this. Since this is very large, I'll make it much smaller. Make sure that you kind of match both of these. Perfect. And I'll place it below here in the center. 20 pixels from the left. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now these icons are much smaller and they do complement the entire abstract feel right here. Now, since I'm feeling extremely lazy, I will be just copying these Google and Facebook icons from here. Again, they're following the same theme, and this is just to give the user an option to either log in with Google or log in with Facebook. I'm going to make this much smaller here and place it in the center. I'm going to make this much smaller also. Perfect. Now, before we even go further, one crucial thing is left. I will have to make a circle which will act like a button to go to the next step or actually log in. I will make this a white, and I will first change it to this gray, the same gray as this, and give it a slight shadow of 1 and 2. Perfect. And change this to 10%. Perfect. Right now we don't want to make it highlighted, but when we prototype it, we will highlight this. First, make a simple arrow, which indicates going to the next step, and I will change this color to this dark gray. Perfect. And give this a size of 2 pixels. Perfect. And place it in the center. I would group both of these together. Perfect. Now we have an actionable button here, and we have these Google and Facebook login options as well. So, okay, and one thing I forgot, email ID. So I'm going to say password here. Perfect. So this is basically the login form. The design is ready, and it's set and ready to go. So as the design is ready, let's start prototyping this entire user interface. So I'm gonna select the entire artboard and say Command D to duplicate it. Now, on selecting this field, it should have a basic shadow right here. The shadow we named to, what did we name it to? Shadow 1, yes. First of all, here I will select the shadow. As you can see on the screen, it's been selected as well, and I'll increase the opacity to 100. And it's gone to the back a lot, so I'll just bring it here. And there is a slight problem though. This is coming in the way, so I'll bring it to the bottom here. Perfect. And make sure that this text field is actually at the bottom as well here, below everything else. And one thing also we forgot, we have to create another shadow for this. So Command D and bring it right to this. Perfect. As you can see, it's aligned 0%, and it's done. So I'll name this Shadow 2. Perfect. Now here, first we've done the one shadow, and we will change this email ID username to our email ID. My email ID, if you want to contact me, is puneetweb@protonmail.com. Any requests, anything, puneetweb@protonmail.com. Okay. I know I shouldn't be giving my email ID, but this is a work email ID. You can find it easily. And I will duplicate this entire artboard by selecting it and saying Command D. So puneetweb@protonmail has been set. I will make sure that this is much darker here, if that makes sense. I'll make sure this is much darker. Perfect. Here as well. Perfect. Just to show that this is not a placeholder, this is the actual text. And here in the password field, since I'm not gonna give you any of my passwords, I've set these circles here, and I'm just going to copy these over to the password. Perfect. And first of all, I will remove the shadow 1 here. I will reduce the opacity to 0, and for the second field as well, which is shadow 2. So for the second text field, what we're going to do here in the third artboard is select the shadow 2 right here and increase the opacity to 100. Perfect. Now it's been lifted as well from this entire space, and that is it. After this, what we have to do here is double click here and make this a navy blue, the circle, and this icon, the arrow icon, should be a white. So I'm just going to change this to a white. Perfect. And give this, increase the shadow from 1 to 12 and 24. Perfect. And increase the opacity to 20. Perfect. And duplicate this one last time, and we will basically reduce the focus from this by, okay, that was a message. We will reduce the focus from this by reducing the opacity of the shadow, so we only have focus on this icon right here. And that was about it. Now all we need to do is quickly prototype this design. So if I click here, it should take me to the second artboard. On tap, change it to auto animate the action. Ease out, we're going to set it to snap and 0.4 seconds. And again here, on clicking on this text field, we should go to the third artboard, snap 0.4 seconds, auto animate. And on clicking anywhere on this artboard or on this form, the background, we'll select the background of this form. Let me just do that by going to the design and say prototype and just tap auto animate snap 0.4 seconds. So let's try this out. I'll preview this, bring it to the center, and I will hold this email ID or username, click on this. Perfect, the shadow animates. And now we click on the password, the shadow animates again. And as you can see, the shadow is here. If I click anywhere else, the shadow fades away. And you have this button showcasing that you need to move forward. So that was today's design. I will be giving the actual file, the XD file, down in the description. So do check that out, download it, and start using it. I hope you liked that video. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button and also subscribe to this channel for amazing content every single freaking week. And share this with all your design buddies. And I will see you in another video of Adobe XD design tutorials. Peace out.